Do you know that one story? One day 5 years ago, a monstrous tiger, called the four-winged black tiger, appeared at the palace. To capture the black tiger that devoured people, the king sent his army, but even the most skilled warrior and the most powerful shaman could not stand against the four-winged black tiger. The black tiger, which plunged the whole country into chaos, eventually devoured the king. The queen, having lost her husband, begged for her life from the four-legged beast, and the prince barely managed to save his own life by hiding in a storage chest. The survivors had no choice but to pray to the heavens. However, what appeared before them was we now see a child wearing a mask, and he's scaring other children with his growling while telling a story. He talks about a black tiger creeping up on people, but then the mountain spirit shows up. The once fierce black tiger trembled in fear. Eventually, the black tiger was sealed by the mountain spirit. One of the children's nanny then appeared, and the boy in the mask was surprised to see her. The nanny was Miss Yuhua's own, and she said that she was wondering where the girl went, and here she was in the middle of the streets again. She then shouted at the boy in the mask and asked if it was his doing again. She then told him that she warned him that if he lured the girl out again, he would be severely punished. The boy then lifted up his mask and told the woman that he didn't lure her out. She was the one who asked to see the mask dance herself. This boy is our protagonist Bongan. He's currently 15. At the sight of the nanny, the other children started to run away. Seeing the other children running away, Bongan shouted at them, calling them cowards. The nanny then tried to grab him, but he just jumped over her. He landed, and while running away, he told her that he would never get caught easily. He then shouted to the girl that he would show her the rest of the dance tomorrow. Hearing this, the nanny dared him to try, and he teased her, causing the girl to laugh. Amidst her frustration, the nanny couldn't help but grumble about the masked troublemaker. A man approached, offering a word of advice. Take it easy on him. Puzzled, she asked what she was supposed to do. He revealed the boy's story. An orphan, who lost his mother to bandits, now scraping by with mask dances under the mountain hermit's care. Wasn't his situation pitiful? He asked. Despite this, the nanny's concern remained focused on his influence over Miss Yuhua, especially since the incident involving the madam had left the elder deeply worried. As we transition to the mountains, Bongan focused intently on carving a mask. Nearby, an old man sat quietly, examining one of Bongan's creations. Suddenly, the mask snapped in the old man's hands, holding the broken pieces in his hands. Make another one, he commands, his voice weathered but firm. Bongan let out a heavy sigh. Can we please stop making masks and start teaching me the mask dance instead? He asked the old man wearily. I'm tired of carving wood all day. The old man scrutinizes him, then poses a question. Can you perform a mask dance without a mask? He challenges. If you haven't unlocked the true power of the mask, it's not yet time for mask dance practice, he said. Undeterred, Bongan reveals he possesses a mask, and said he was keeping it a secret from the old man. He then revealed the mask, presenting it as the ultimate beast and the legend of monsters, the legendary four-winged black tiger mask. However, the old man was unimpressed. He advised Bongan against fixating on grand masks. He explained that focusing on creating a grand mask wouldn't necessarily improve his mask dance skills. Instead, he emphasized the importance of a dancer being intimately connected to their mask. According to the old man, a modest mask, one that reflects the dancer's true self, is where the journey to mastering the mask dance begins. Making grand masks, he concluded, comes only later in the process. Bongan, however, dismissed the notion of modesty, remarking that it wasn't cool. The old man countered, stating that sometimes, small things hold great power. Bongan, frustrated, accused his master of always speaking in riddles. He questioned whether the talk of needing a good mask was just an excuse, insinuating that his master's recent health issues were simply a guise for being tired of teaching him. The old man's patience wore thin as he labeled Bongan a brat, his tone firm and uncompromising. Bongan looked nervous as the old man's expression changed. "If you're going to talk like that, then you should get lost," he declared sternly. Upon hearing these words, Bongan turned and ran off, leaving the old man behind. While walking, Bongan mulled over the recent altercation with his master. He admitted to himself that he hadn't meant to speak out of turn and wondered about the consequences if his master decided to abandon his teachings. Would he try to learn the mask dance on his own, or would he simply give up? Lost in thought, Bongan was suddenly drawn to a noise nearby. Curious, he approached cautiously, only to discover a wounded deer. Surprised, he stumbled backward, observing the deep wound and wondering if a predator lurked nearby. He found it unsettling that such a swift creature could be felled in the forest. As he pondered this, a baby deer emerged and cautiously approached him. Its innocent gaze struck Bongan, triggering memories of his childhood. His mother laid on the floor, her presence comforting despite the circumstances. With a soft voice filled with love, she told him, "Don't be sad." Despite her efforts to soothe him, tears streamed down his cheeks uncontrollably. Returning to the present, Bongan reached out to touch the baby deer. As he stroked its fur and locked eyes with the creature, he found himself unable to hold back his tears. He saw himself mirrored in the deer, feeling a strange connection to the creature before him. Now we find him immersed in the act of carving a mask. Reflecting on his master's teachings, he realizes that a suitable subject for a mask dance can always be found in the world around him. Even something as modest as his immediate surroundings, as long as it holds significance to him, marks the beginning of a remarkable mask dance. With steady hands and focused determination, he finally completes the mask. Surveying his handiwork, he deems it a fitting creation. He then turned to the deer, his voice gentle and reassuring. "Don't worry," he said softly. "I'll protect you now." With a sense of conviction, he expressed his belief that his master would surely welcome a young deer, and he decided to name the deer Danby. As Bongan observed Danby's jittery behavior, he reassured the deer that he meant it no harm. However, his attention was soon drawn to the sight of blood on the ground, prompting confusion and concern. Suddenly, a voice pierced the silence, causing Bongan to freeze in fear. Paralyzed, he realized he couldn't move. With sharp teeth, a large predator with jet-black fur and eyes red like blood, a huge tiger appeared before him, startling Bongan. The beast questioned Bongan about the whereabouts of Bane Acha, leaving him bewildered. Wondering why the black tiger was there and what Bane Acha meant, Bongan found himself at a loss for words. To his astonishment, the tiger spoke again, expressing frustration at Bongan's silence. As Danby struggled to break free, the deer managed to wriggle loose and dashed away. The tiger, sensing Bongan's confusion, remarked that he seemed to not know. With a swift slash, it attacked, but Bongan instinctively grabbed his mask and managed to dodge just in time. As he evaded, Bongan realized he wore the mask without realizing. Feeling strangely light, it was as if he had transformed into a deer. Bongan began to ponder if this was the true power his master spoke of. Observing the mask, the tiger seemed convinced, speculating that the old man must be nearby. The tiger slashed at Bongan once more, demanding to know the whereabouts of Bane Acha. Dodging again, Bongan questioned the barrage of questions and asked what Bane Acha was. As he evaded, Bongan noticed his body feeling lighter but his movements slowing down. Realizing he couldn't keep dodging forever, contemplating his slim odds against the formidable black tiger, Bongan briefly considered making a daring escape. However, doubts gnawed at him, knowing the tiger's strength. Recalling his master's wisdom about the power of small things, Bongan resolved to take a chance and entrust himself to the mask. With determination fueling his movements, Bongan launched into the Bongan mask dance, initiating Act 1, the deer dance, executing a lightning kick with precision. As his foot connected with the tiger, Bongan felt a surge of hope, believing his plan had succeeded. Yet, The tiger's mocking laughter shattered his confidence. The tiger's voice dripped with contempt as it mocked Bongan's attempt to challenge it with a mere deer mask. With a derisive chuckle, it found amusement in the situation before delivering a powerful blow that sent Bongan hurtling through the air, helpless against the tiger's overwhelming strength. The tiger advanced towards Bongan, its voice low and menacing as it demanded answers about Bane Atch's whereabouts. Bongan, feeling weak and helpless, reiterated that he didn't know. In response, the tiger threatened to take his life if he didn't comply. Just as the tiger prepared to strike, a figure appeared, blocking its attack. The figure managed to push back the tiger. As the figure stood between Bongan and the tiger, Bongan managed to recognize him as his master, despite his dazed state. The tiger expressed disbelief at the old man's presence, questioning why he had been hiding. The old man confronted the tiger, questioning its reason for being there. The tiger declared its mission to retrieve what it believed was rightfully its own. It then demanded that the mountain spirit Bane Atcha tell him the whereabouts of the human mask. Listening to their exchange, Bongan pondered the meaning of a human mask. Bane Atcha pressed the tiger about how it broke the seal, to which the tiger claimed it was the will of the heavens, boasting about its aspirations to become the nation's king. In a sudden attack, the tiger lunged towards Bane Atcha. As the tiger slash neared its mark, Bane Atcha swiftly dodged, executing the Heaven and Earth Mask Dance's second act, the Heichi Dance Ripple Step. Bane Atcha confronted the tiger, asserting that it had made a fool of himself and told the tiger that he did not possess the human mask. Acknowledging this, the tiger dashed towards him and said he knew that the old man possessed the map instead. Confirming this, the old man dared the tiger to attempt to take it away, as he kicked it in the chest. With determination, the old man executed another move, the waterfall, striking the tiger and sending it hurtling through the air. Witnessing this display of power, Bongan was incredulous, unable to believe that it was his master who wielded such strength. The tiger rose to its feet, questioning the old man's determination to stop him to this extent. So much so that even as the old man is dying, he's still trying. The old man fell to his knees, spitting blood as he realized he couldn't fully dodge the tiger's attack. Worried, Bongan called out to his master. The tiger remarked on the old man's struggle, declaring that his body was now as good as ruined. It taunted him, suggesting he should have chosen his opponent more wisely, and questioned if Bane Atcha was that afraid of him becoming king. Gasping for breath, the old man acknowledged that it was time to correct his mistake. The tiger, puzzled, asked what he meant by this. The tiger questioned why he had settled in such a remote village. Observing the dire situation, Bongan realized that his master seemed incapable of fighting any longer. With no other options available, he resolved to save his master. Upon closer observation, Bongan noticed that the black tiger appeared exhausted as well. Meanwhile, the tiger continued to question the old man about his presence in such a remote village. As Bongan contemplated his next move, he noticed that his pain had subsided, prompting him to consider taking action. Donning the mask once more, he prepared to intervene. Just as Bongan was about to leap into action, the tiger inquired if the old man's presence was due to the child. Startled, Bongan froze. The old man sternly warned the tiger not to lay a finger on the child. The tiger acknowledged that the old man seemed quite fond of the child, then demanded that the old man hand over the map in exchange for sparing the child's life. Threateningly, the tiger warned that if the old man refused, he would have no choice but to kill the child. The tiger then lunged at Bongan, startling them all, as his attack, destroying a portion of the forest. Bongan emerged unharmed, but the old man's chest was pierced by the tiger's attack. The tiger then questioned the old man about the value of the child's life to him, to the point that the old man was willing to sacrifice himself for the child. The old man said sorry, Angered by the old man's response, the tiger demanded answers and demanded to know where the old man had hidden the human mask. In a defiant tone, the old man declared that the tiger was unworthy of wearing the human mask. With determination, the old man unleashed a powerful attack named Heaven and Earth Mask Dance. Second act He Dance, causing a massive impact that tore through the surrounding forest. After the intense display of power, the old man remarked that this should buy them some time before collapsing to his knees. Bongan quickly got up and ran to the old man, crying out his name. The first time he saw his master was the day a band of thieves swept through the village. The people in the town looked at him and wondered if it was a clown. His master suddenly appeared and danced without a word, and the people, exhausted by the chaos, just stared at the dance. Without words, without rest, the performance continued until the sun went down. As his mother took her last breath, she told him that instead of trying too hard not to die, he should try to enjoy life, and even on the day he dies, make people laugh. As he looked at the dance, he wondered about that kind of life. As the old man left, he ran after him, begging him to stop. The old man stopped and Bongan asked the old man to teach him how to dance with a mask. We now return to the present and find Bongan kneeling before his master, who now has a hollow chest. As he cried, he begged his master not to leave him like this. The old man then noticed the new mask Bongan had made and asked if it was a deer. Bongan, still crying, confessed that he should have learned faster, made a proper mask, and practiced more, but he could only manage a deer mask. His master placed his hand on his head and assured him that it was a good mask, praising his splendid mask dance. Then the old man mentioned that he should share the story of how he made the mask next time, and he collapsed to the ground, causing Bongan to scream out for him. We then see a flashback to the time when the old man accepted him as his disciple. The old man asked him if he truly wanted to learn how to dance with a mask, and Bongan eagerly replied yes, expressing his desire to become a clown of the mask dance. The old man cautioned him that his mask dance was different from mere clowning around and suggested that if he wanted to become a clown, he should join a troupe. But Bongan grabbed onto him and pleaded for him to teach him. Annoyed, the old man looked at him and questioned his persistence. Bongan begged once more, expressing his deep desire to perform the mask dance. The old man, still puzzled, asked if he was truly willing to become a clown and live off begging in the streets for the rest of his life. Bongan replied that he was prepared for it, with nowhere else to go and no family left anyway. Curious, the old man then asked him why he wanted to learn the mask dance so badly. Bongan confessed that he wanted to shine like him, just once in his life, even if only for a fleeting moment. He longed to be someone who danced with a mask and brought joy to others. As they stared into each other's eyes, we now return to the present. As the old man was passing away, he called Bongan a stubborn brat, and his life faded. Bongan cried out for him, but he received no response. As the sun set behind the mountains, not knowing where to go, he simply ran away, forgetting the pain, the sadness, the regret, escaping the dark night towards the light. After wandering for quite a while, when he returned to the village, 5 years had passed. As he walked, he wondered if anything had changed in the village. Around his waist, we see that he was carrying a lot of different masks that he created. Now, we see a 20-year-old Bongan preparing to go find the human mask. Claws like a steel sickle, ears torn straight with patterns like a plum blossom, a tiger. We now see a man laughing at another man at a table, mocking him for saying that a tiger appeared in the back mountain, telling him to stop talking nonsense. The other man insists he heard it clearly and mentions 2 witnesses from last night. He warns the mocker that it's not nonsense, as everyone is now locking their front doors, and advises him to evacuate immediately after finishing his meal. Bongan, eating at the same time, slams his bowl down, expressing satisfaction with the meal. He remarks that it's been a while since he felt so full and wonders where he should go next. He contemplates if it's time for a little dance. We now see him with his mask on in a marketplace devoid of people. Someone approaches and informs him that everyone ran away in fear because a tiger that eats people has appeared. This surprises Bongan. In another scene, people scream for their lives, begging the governor for help. We now see the governor and another man in a room. The governor asks what the commotion outside is about this time. The other man informs him that it's because of the rumor that a tiger has appeared, and the terrified people are begging to hide in the government office. The governor scoffs at the idea, saying, "As if I would do that for those fools. If they hid all the villagers in the government office, wouldn't the hungry tiger just enter there?" The governor nonchalantly remarked, "A few commoners dying is nothing." The man then instructed his subordinate to meticulously record the details of all those gathered there, as he intended to administer punishment personally later on. With that order accepted, the subordinate departed. We return to Bongan. He pondered the chaos that had ensued since the appearance of the tiger in the nearby mountain. Annoyed by the timing of these events, he approached a boy and inquired why he was there. The boy declared his intent to catch the tiger instead of fleeing. Bongan, intrigued by the boy's bold declaration, questioned his capability. The boy vehemently asserted that Bongan shouldn't underestimate him, proclaiming his ambition to become a tiger hunter warrior. Bongan, puzzled by this notion, inquired further. The boy explained that tiger hunters were warriors tasked with protecting people from tiger-induced disasters called Hoen. He added that capturing a tiger and obtaining its skin could fetch a significant reward of hundreds of niang. When Bongan asked about his plans for the money, the boy revealed his intention to use it for expensive medicine to treat his sick mother. Curious about the boy's experience with tigers, Bongan asked if he had ever encountered one himself, to which the boy replied no. Bongan then warned him about the ferocity of tigers and suggested watching a masked dance instead. However, the boy dismissed the idea, claiming he had no time to play. This refusal frustrated Bongan, who asserted the seriousness of masked dances and promised to demonstrate a real one. In response, the boy pushed him away and shouted that he was not in the mood to play, surprising Bongan with his unexpected strength. We return to the governor's quarters, where the assistant continued counting the gathered people, resigned to avoiding the outside risks. Meanwhile, the beast approached the villagers, causing panic among the residents. As it drew nearer, the people scattered in fear. Bongan and the young boy were alerted by the screams of the villagers, their attention abruptly diverted from their conversation. The man in the government office bellowed at the crowd, demanding to know why they weren't taking action against the tiger. He promised a reward of 5 niangs for anyone who could capture the beast and present it to the governor. One man hesitated, but another urged him to consider his life, arguing that 5 niangs wouldn't be worth risking death. Yet, another man interjected, pointing out that 5 niangs equaled 10 days' wages, a significant sum for many. The man claimed to have run errands for the tiger hunter, noted the distinct markings of the creature, resembling a plum blossom, identifying it as a leopard, not a tiger. Assessing its injuries and size, he estimated that a group of 4 or 5 men could handle it. He said that he would do a 3 count and then they will charge at once. 1, 2. As he said 3, the leopard moved faster, slashing through the crowd before they could act. The leopard attacked again. It then turned and looked at the rest of the villagers, and they paused with fear for a moment. The leopard then growled, and as the panicked villagers scattered, the governor's attendant desperately tried to rally them, but to no avail. Meanwhile, the young boy, driven by determination, positioned himself to confront the leopard alone, planning to catch it aspiring to become a tiger hunter. However, the sight of the formidable beast caused him to freeze in fear. The leopard noticed him and started to approach. The leopard's sudden lunge caused the leopard slashed through the boy's clothes. As the leopard landed, we see that the little boy was okay. As the dust cleared, the boy slowly opened his eyes, and we now see that Bongan was the one who saved the boy from the leopard, Bongan then directed the boy's attention, urging him to observe closely as he was going to show him a real mask dance. As the tension mounted and the crowd watched in disbelief, their collective astonishment evident, they turned to witness the unfolding events, frozen in shock and anticipation, wondering what had just transpired before their eyes. As Bongan confronted the leopard, the governor's attendant couldn't fathom why a clown had appeared amidst the chaos. Despite the beast's anger, Bongan calmly instructed the boy to step back momentarily. The leopard growled and Bongan was thinking about the marketplace was strangely deserted. It dawned on Bongan that it was because everyone had gathered here. Before the leopard could strike again, Bongan seized the moment to commence his performance. The leopard dashed towards Bongan with practiced precision. He executed the Bongan Mask Act 1. The Deer Dance. He delivered an attack called Lightning Kick to the leopard's chest that made it recoil and spit up, a sight that left the onlookers stunned. Bolstered by his initial success, Bongan pressed on, launching into the hoof stomp, a powerful attack that landed squarely on the top of the leopard's head. With the creature reeling from the blows, Bongan delivered the finishing move, the flying stomp, driving the leopard's head forcefully into the ground. Bongan then jumped away, and as the dust settled, the crowd stood in awe, processing the spectacle before them. Amidst the stunned silence, a voice sounded out that it was dead, initially laughing nervously before proclaiming jubilantly that they were now safe. The leopard lay dead. Relief washed over the assembled villagers as they collectively declared that the tiger was vanquished. The boy stood in awe, scarcely believing what he had witnessed. He questioned Bongan if he really did it, to which Bongan simply replied saying, "Of course." Turning the tables, Bongan asked the boy if he had enjoyed the performance. The boy's curiosity piqued as he questioned Bongan about the nature of the performance. Bongan affirmed that indeed, it was a mask dance. He explained the significance of such dances, highlighting their ability to bring joy and laughter to people's lives. Gesturing towards the villagers, Bongan asked the boy if they didn't all seem genuinely happy, to which the boy enthusiastically agreed. As the scene unfolded, a crow emerged in the sky, soaring away from the village and back into the forest. Descending gracefully, it landed on the outstretched finger of a figure seated in a small carriage, engaging in what appeared to be a form of communication. Someone running shouting for the attention of the tiger hunter. Breathlessly, he relayed the news that the leopard which had escaped from Mount Wyong had been captured. Upon hearing this, the tiger hunter inquired about the fate of the pursuing warrior, only to be informed that it was a clown who had successfully captured the beast. Stunned by this revelation, the tiger hunter turned slowly, his expression one of disbelief, as he sought confirmation of the unexpected turn of events. In a flashback, we witness Bongan's master imparting his final words. He urged Bongan to heed his instructions carefully, emphasizing that the responsibility now rested solely upon his shoulders. As he ran, he reflected on what his master said. He instructed Bongan to flee as far away as possible before the tiger awoke, urging him to find the location of the human mask. Meanwhile, in the present, the governor and his official examined the fur of the captured leopard. Expressing his congratulations, the attendant informed the governor that he had already informed the higher authorities. However, their conversation was abruptly interrupted by a guard. He informed them that the clown who had caught the leopard has arrived. Bongan, radiating with pride, greeted the governor, prompting a skeptical gaze from the latter. Questioning how Bongan had managed to defeat the leopard, the official relayed that it had been accomplished with a swift and lightning-fast kick. The little boy enthusiastically recounted the tale to a gathered crowd, detailing how Bongan had swiftly vanquished the leopard. An old man inquired if the story was indeed true, to which the boy confidently affirmed its accuracy. Another bystander, having witnessed the event firsthand, lent further credence to the narrative. Amidst the discussion, a member of the crowd turned to the nanny, questioning if the clown bore any resemblance to someone familiar. The woman asked him what he was talking about and when they had ever seen someone as strange as him. The man reminded her about the boy who used to dance in a mask, the orphan clown kid she often scolded, and asked if she didn't remember. She then recalled Bong-san and dismissed it as ridiculous. She asked if the child didn't die 5 years ago, to which the man replied that his body was never found. She conceded but questioned why he would come back now after all this time. Meanwhile, at the governor's place, he rewarded Bong-san with 5 niang for killing the leopard and told him not to be shy and take it. Bong-san thanked him and looked at the coins, then hesitantly asked if he could receive something else instead of money. The governor laughed and mocked Bong-san for refusing the coins, asking what else he wanted. Bong-san requested the governor's necklace, surprising him. The attendant reacted angrily, accusing Bong-san of coveting the governor's possession and demanded him to leave. Bong-san was kicked out and left lying on the floor. While lying on the floor, Bong-san felt indignant at their rudeness. He stood up and expressed his frustration, saying they should have simply refused instead of kicking him out. He realized that words alone wouldn't suffice. He needed to take action. Meanwhile, back at the governor's place, the official boldly asked about the significance of the necklace and why Bong-san refused money for it. The governor dismissed it as nothing but a piece of wood, a gift from a high official believed to ward off bad luck. He recounted a tale of an old man's mysterious disappearance from the village and how fragments of an unknown object were found, claimed to be traces of a mountain spirit by a monk who sold them at a high price. The attendant scoffed at the notion, questioning why the monk would call it a mountain spirit instead of Buddha. The governor remarked that the monk was a fool and speculated that the object was likely debris from a collapsed house. He admitted to wearing it only because it was a gift from the high official, surmising that Bong-san must have been deceived by rumors. Switching scenes, we find Bong-san with pieces of a map spread out on a cloth. The boy approaches and asks about his activity. Bong-san then asked him what brings him there, and the boy responds that he was just passing by and inquired about the items on the cloth. Bong-san explains that the map was given to him by his master, who taught him the mask dance. When Bong-san asks if the boy can read Chinese characters, the boy responds saying no, questioning how he could when he's not of noble birth. He then asked the boy what pattern he sees there, and the boy said it looks like a roof. The boy then asked what it was. Bong-san then told the boy that it means human, and said it was a riddle his master left for him. He told the boy that his teacher left a will telling him to find the human mask. The boy's attention was caught by something else as he said that it couldn't be as Bong-san was speaking. The boy interrupted him and said that he should look over there. Bong-san then asked him what was he supposed to look at. The boy then shouted that the tiger hunter has arrived. As the tiger hunter rode his horse, he slowly looked behind towards Bong-san. As the boy jumped excited, saying that they are so cool and that there was even a palanquin, the tiger hunter just kept staring at him. Bong-san wasn't sure what to think of this. The men continued their march until they arrived at the governor's place. The governor asked what brought the tiger warrior there, along with a whole troop of soldiers. The tiger warrior replied that he heard about a plum blossom tiger appearing in the village. The governor, with his hand on his cheek, sarcastically asked if they were there to hunt the ghost of a dead tiger. As he removed his helmet, the tiger warrior informed the governor that he knew the tiger had been caught, and they were there to retrieve the fur. The governor responded with disbelief, questioning why they should take the fur if they hadn't captured it. The official intervened, explaining that it was originally the tiger that the nearby tiger warrior had been chasing, giving them the right to retrieve its fur. This revelation surprised the governor. He then pondered what they should do next, considering they were supposed to present the fur to the high official. The attendant suggested stalling for time and thinking it over. Turning to the tiger warrior, the governor remarked on the current process of skinning and processing the fur, indicating it would take a while before it was ready to be taken. He then suggested the tired travelers stay and have a drink while they waited, acknowledging their long journey. The tiger hunter glanced back at the carriage before agreeing, citing the exhaustion of some soldiers. They decided to rest for the night before departing. The governor commended the decision, inviting them inside and offering his best wine. Meanwhile, Bong-san, observing the meeting, seemed excited to hear that the men will be drinking. Later in the night, we find the governor sleeping soundly after indulging in a bit too much wine. Bongan, wearing a monkey mask, observed him from the window and remarked on how comfortably he slept. He then descended and declared the infiltration a success. Approaching the governor, Bongan recalled being cast out earlier like a dog, but now, with a swift slash of his knife, he severed the lace of the governor's necklace, obtaining the coveted map piece. As Bongan retrieved the mask piece, something alerted him, and he narrowly avoided a sudden attack. Assessing his movements, the assailant remarked that catching the tiger was no mere stroke of luck. Suddenly, the tiger warrior emerged from the darkness, wielding his sword. As he approached Bongan, he commented on the discrepancy between the rumors of Bongan wearing a deer mask and the reality of him wearing a monkey mask. Caught off guard, Bongan felt a surge of fear. In a flashback to earlier that night, we see the governor pouring liquor for the tiger hunter, encouraging him to drink and praising its quality. As the tiger hunter took a sip, the governor brought up the topic of the leopard fur, causing the warrior to pause. The governor mentioned the left state councilor's fondness for tiger fur, particularly that of the plum blossom tiger. The governor continued his ramblings, proclaiming his ownership of the leopard's fur and his intention to present it to the left state councilor. The tiger hunter stared blankly at the governor, who said they'd talk about it later. In his mind, the governor saw the warrior as very uptight. He then offered the warrior another drink. Later, the governor, now drunk, claimed ownership of the leopard's fur, saying he had to deliver it to the left state councilor. The tiger warrior asked about the clown who caught the leopard and what kind of person he was. The still drunk governor called the clown crazy for refusing money and asking for his necklace. The tiger warrior inquired about the necklace, and the governor confirmed it was the one around his neck. Suddenly, the governor passed out, and the tiger warrior checked the necklace. As he did, a creepy wind blew out the lights, and a blue spirit materialized behind him, saying, "It's this guy." Back in the present, the tiger warrior informed Bongan that the rumors differed from what he heard, mentioning that he heard he wore a deer mask. Bongan, puzzled, began explaining the situation regarding the leopard fur reward from the governor. Before he could finish, the tiger hunter interrupted, asking if the reward was the necklace he held. Bongan said yes, and was surprised at the tiger warrior's knowledge. He then expressed his intention to leave, having received what was due. However, the tiger hunter insisted on one question, inquiring about the type of mask as it doesn't look like a deer. Bongan stood quietly for a while, then pushed the sword away and asked if there was such a thing as a clown with only one mask. He added that masks were supposed to change according to the situation. Suddenly, the tiger warrior attacked Bongan, who managed to evade the strike. After dodging, he was wondering why that came out of nowhere. The tiger warrior thought about how he believed he was full of openings. The tiger warrior then said that he heard that they said he defeated the leopard by performing a mask dance, and he wonders how spectacular the mask dance really is, and told him to show him it once. Bongan then told him that it seems that he's not totally aware yet and decided to perform the mask dance for him. He performed a move called Bongan Mask Dance Act 4 Monkey Dance Acrobatics, and he dodged every one of the slashes that came from the tiger warrior. While removing the mask, Bongan questioned why he should dance when there wasn't a single audience around, asking for whose pleasure it was. The tiger warrior considered that his movements weren't bad and wondered if it was because of the mask. He then thought about someone he knew who wore a mask. Bongan suggested saving the mask dance for the marketplace next time, mentioning he had somewhere to go and would be leaving. Suddenly, an arrow soared straight past his head, alarming the men. The governor, holding the bow, declared that these people dared to break into the governor's bedroom in the middle of the night. The governor then ordered his men to arrest the criminals and threatened to kill both of them. As the governor fired, he threatened to kill the clown first and then the tiger hunter after him. While still dodging arrows, Bongan remarked that if the governor continued shooting like that, he had no choice but to escape. He began to climb his way out. Seeing that Bongan was trying to escape, the governor fired another arrow at him, but it missed. Upon reaching the top, he laughed, noting they didn't expect him to get up there. Just as he was about to run off, someone pointed a sword at his head and greeted him with a smile. Meanwhile, the governor grew increasingly upset as all his shots missed their target, regretting his earlier drinking. Someone approached him from behind, pointing a sword at him. Startled, the governor asked who was there. The man behind him asked for a moment to speak. Recognizing the attire, the governor realized it was one of the tiger hunters. As the governor's men knelt on the floor, they apologized, explaining that the men emerged suddenly from the darkness. Surprised, the governor wondered how this could have happened. The man reassured the governor to wait, promising it wouldn't take long. The governor called him mad, angered that they not only defied his command but also threatened him. He questioned if they didn't know the law. The man inquired if the governor was aware of the military laws of the country, explaining the rights of the tiger hunter warrior regarding hunting a tiger without the king's permission. He added that interrogating a person known for catching a tiger with bare hands didn't require permission. The tiger hunter advised Bongan to give up on running away as the area was surrounded by his men. He then told Bongan to come down as he wanted to see the rest of the dance. Observing the situation, Bongan realized he was truly caught. He scratched his head side, then jumped down and suggested they have a dance-off now that a crowd had gathered. He contemplated how the tiger hunter had surrounded him with his men and then requested him to dance. Bongan decided to play along, intending to escape later. The tiger hunter signaled to one of his men, who brought a sword for Bongan. The tiger hunter allowed him to use weapons and said he should show his best. Bongan unsheathed the sword, glanced at it, then threw it down, surprising the onlookers. He stated that he doesn't use deadly weapons, explaining to the tiger warrior that a sword is too much for a dance intended to amuse. One warrior couldn't believe Bongan discarded the sword in such a situation, while another admired his bravery. Accepting Bongan's decision, the tiger hunter attacked, but Bongan managed to dodge. Bongan pondered the tiger hunter's relentless attacks, surprised by how close that one came. As the tiger hunter attacked again, Bongan screamed while dodging. Meanwhile, the governor, observing, remarked on the tattered government building, noting he had never seen such a madman before. The warrior apologized for the building's condition and assured the governor it wouldn't take much longer. We switch back to Bongan, who is seen dodging another attack. The tiger hunter admonished Bongan, urging him to do more than just dodge. Flashing again, Bongan vanished and reappeared behind the tiger hunter. He warned the tiger hunter never to let his guard down, using an attack called Twirl Stomp, hitting the tiger warrior in his face. As everyone paused in awe, Bongan marveled at how perfectly the attack landed, signaling it was time to sprint away. Seeing Bongan considering escape, the tiger hunter dashed towards him and slashed, but Bongan dodged once more and marveled at the tiger hunter's speed. He evaded another attack, pondering why the tiger hunter suddenly turned so serious. Bongan had assumed the warrior merely wanted to interrogate him, finding it absurd that the tiger warrior now displayed killing intent. When the tiger warrior managed to cut his side, Bongan was surprised by the sight of blood. The governor cheered on the tiger hunter, encouraging him to decapitate Bongan. As the tiger hunter prepared to attack again, Bongan realized the warrior truly intended to kill him. Knowing he had to fully defeat the tiger warrior to escape, Bongan resolved to take him down and flee. Bongan punched the sword away and launched into Bongan Mask Dance Act 4. Monkey Dance, Monkey Feast, unleashing a barrage of attacks at the tiger hunter. Bongan managed to hit him in the face. The hunter countered with a kick to Bongan's stomach. He then urged him to fight with all his heart. Bongan questioned the tiger warrior's obsession, jokingly asking if a ghost who died without seeing a mask dance had attached itself to him, finding it annoying. The tiger warrior dashed towards him again, eager to see more, slashing as Bongan dodged and countered with his own attack. Bongan dodged another attack and then countered with a barrage of attacks on the tiger hunter. The tiger hunter responded to Bongan with slashes to his shoulder and thigh, and his mask was slightly cut. As Bongan dashed and attacked him again, the tiger hunter still wanted to see more from him. The tiger warrior desired to see Bongan's real skills and continued to attack. Bongan then hit the hilt of his sword, surprising the tiger hunter, and apologized, then unleashed an attack called Catching the Moon. As Bongan's attack connected, it caused the tiger warrior to spit up blood. Shock rippled through the onlookers. Despite this, the tiger hunter remained unfazed, surprising Bongan. The tiger hunter grinned and declared that Bongan had passed. He then said that Bongan would be taken by him and unleashed a devastating slash. We now see his sword dripping with blood. Bongan's face was now smeared with blood, and sweat streamed down his face. He realized his mask was cut in two, and he was taken aback by the sight. The tiger hunter walked towards him and stood over Bongan with his sword emitting a blue aura. The warrior who had the governor captive then withdrew his sword from the governor's neck, acknowledging the governor's ordeal. Still startled by the sudden turn of events, the governor wondered what had just happened as the fight concluded in an instant. With a calm demeanor, the warrior remarked, "Didn't I tell you it wouldn't take long?" Bongan then questioned the tiger hunter if he intended to kill him, and he just stared at him blankly. The governor then shouted for immediate execution and fired an arrow at Bongan. The tiger warrior swiftly blocked the arrow and instructed the governor not to intervene. Angered, the governor retorted that the tiger warrior was the last person who should intervene, accusing Bongan of sneaking into his bedroom and stealing from him. He argued that now that the interrogation was over, it was his right to decide on the execution of a criminal in his town. Bongan countered, reminding the governor that he broke his promise first. The tiger warrior clarified that he had no intention of interfering in the governor's affairs, but he still had unfinished business. Puzzled, the governor inquired about what was left to resolve. The tiger warrior explained that in hunting a beast, assistance from anyone, regardless of their origin or status, is accepted. He emphasized that although it was a dangerous task, it presented a chance for redemption for a thief caught in the act. Offering Bongan a choice, the tiger warrior gave him the option to either die as a criminal or live as one of his soldiers. Perplexed by the proposition, the governor questioned its validity. However, the tiger warrior urged Bongan to make a decision. Reluctantly, Bongan expressed his dislike for such matters but ultimately agreed to the offer, pleading for his life to be spared. We switch scenes to the warriors preparing to depart, with one of them urging haste due to the long journey ahead. Bongan, clad in his warrior uniform, finds it uncomfortable. The other warriors glance at him, recalling the chaos he caused yesterday. Bongan reflected on his decision to engage in the fight, realizing it was a mistake. In the governor's office, his assistant questioned whether he would allow the warriors to leave unpunished, highlighting the destruction of the government office overnight and the threats made against the governor. The governor dismissed the assistant's concerns, labeling him a narrow-minded bastard. He brushed off the chaos, emphasizing that they obtained the leopard skin instead. The governor chuckled incredulously, unable to believe that they acquired the leopard skin by exchanging a clown. He marveled at the unexpected offer from the cold tiger hunter warrior. As the tiger hunter warrior prepared to depart, Bongan approached him, requesting to stay in the village for one more day. Bongan mentioned that he had heard they would have several days of travel ahead, so he wanted to stay just one day longer. However, the tiger hunter warrior refused his request, stating that they couldn't afford any more delays. As he got onto his horse, he reminded Bongan that the expedition was about to begin and instructed him to return to his post. Disheartened, Bongan walked away, pondering the warrior's strictness. He noticed a crowd gathering and wondered if a certain lady would be among them. The nanny then approached and informed him that the young lady was absent. Curious, Bongan remembered her from his childhood as the nanny of the Yu family. Surprised by his survival, the nanny questioned if he was truly Bongan. Affirming his identity, Bongan expressed his unexpected happiness at seeing someone familiar. As Bongan was about to ask the nanny something, she interrupted and informed him that if he was looking for Miss Yu, she had left the village a long time ago. Bongan paused, then forced a laugh and inquired about which family Miss Yu had married into. The nanny replied that she didn't know, surprising Bongan. She continued, revealing that 2 years after Bongan disappeared, Miss Yu had left the village even before getting engaged. The last she had heard from her was when she was searching for a certain herb called the Yiren herb. Curious, Bongan asked about the herb, but his attention was diverted by a little boy approaching. After Bongan recounted everything that had happened to the boy called him a traitor. He accused Bongan of pretending not to be interested, but ultimately killing the beast and joining the tiger hunter soldiers. The boy claimed that he was the one who had first attempted to catch the plum blossom tiger. Bongan laughed and apologized, to which the boy responded by asserting that Bongan was still just a low-ranking soldier. He declared his own ambition to catch a tiger and join the tiger hunter soldiers, aiming to achieve greater feats and rise higher than Bongan. Bongan reassured him, placing a hand on his head and expressing his anticipation for their future meeting. The boy, however, insisted that Bongan take him seriously, shouting at him not to ignore his aspirations. The nanny just stood and observed the exchange between the two. Switching scenes, we see the soldiers heading out, with Bongan looking back and reminiscing about the past and said he has only just returned as he gazes at the village from a distance. One of the soldiers shouts at him, urging him not to fall behind. As he walks away, Bongan wonders about the Yiren herb. In the next scene, in the darkness, someone claims that it was indeed a masked clown who killed the plum blossom tiger and took some kind of wooden piece. The man vehemently asserts that he saw it with his own eyes, but pleads for his life to be spared. Ignoring his plea, the tiger slashes the man, killing him. The tiger remarks that their territories are slowly beginning to overlap, declaring that they should no longer avoid confrontations. With that, he announces that the hunt has just begun.